Hello everyone. In this video we're going to start to talk about operators, and in this particular video we're going to talk about the arithmetic operators in the C programming language, and we're going to use Raspberry Pi for that. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, here I've written a short program to demonstrate the arithmetic operators. The arithmetic operators are basically the symbols that we use to do arithmetic in the C programming language or in other programming languages. Most of the C-based languages use these very same operators, and it's pretty common across all of those. So first we have addition, subtraction, multiplication is an asterisk sign, and then division is a slash sign, a forward slash. Those are pretty straightforward. There is one thing you need to be aware of with division we'll get into, but a couple of ones that you might not be familiar with if you haven't been programming very long is the modulus operator and the increment and the decrement. But we're going to go over these shortly. First of all, the only library I'm going to include in this program is the standard input-output library up here, and that's just so we can use the printf function to print some stuff on the screen to show you what's going on. All right, and in our main program, or in the main function, I've declared a few variables, and while I usually like to use descriptive names, I just use A, B, C, D, and E as for demonstration purposes here. And so I've I've assigned some values to those. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 1, C 2, D is equal to 3, and E is equal to 10. We'll come back to those later. And just to demonstrate what all those are, the first thing this program is going to do is just print those to the screen so you can see the values stored in them. So here we just have, we're just going to print A, B, C, D, and E, and here's the values of A, B, C, D, and E. It's going to be printed to the screen. Two line returns here, and so there'll be a space in the lines, and then I'm going to demonstrate the operators. So on this line we're just going to add A plus B, and then stick it in this string here, and then A minus B, I'm going to stick it in there. Oops, I made a mistake here. This meant to be a multiplication. I'll just fix it right now. So here we will multiply. Let's make it more interesting. Let's go, instead of A plus, let's go E and D. So remember that's, let's just go D and E, and so we have 3 times 10. There we go. D times E, and then that'll be 3 times 10 right there. Okay, sorry about that. I made a mistake. And then we're going to do division, and we're going to do division 2 ways. First of all, if you watched my video on variables or data types, you might have caught a little bit of this. But when we divide 2 integers, we're going and keep them as integers, it's going to just display the whole number value. And if you think back to elementary school when you first learned how to do division and you had a remainder, well, it's going to this is just going to return the value without the remainder. So when we go 10 divided by 3, 3 goes into 10 3 times, and it'll have a remainder of 1, but it's only going to output the 3. So when we do it this way, this %d is a decimal value or integer value, and it's just going to output a 3 here. If we want to actually get the 3.3.3, and so on, we have to cast it as a float. Remember, a floating point variable has a decimal place, and so that's what we do down here. It's the same operators used here. I have E divided by D, same as right here, except in parentheses, just before that, I'm putting the word float. And what that's going to do is it's just going to what's called cast that value as a float value. And you notice this format here is a little bit different. What this is going to do is there's going to be 4 digits, including the decimal place, and it's going to be 2 places in the right of the decimal place. So this should put an output 3.33. Okay, so that's 2 different ways to do division you need to be aware of. The next is the modulus, and this is something that if you haven't programmed much, you might not be familiar with. But again, remember back to elementary school when you did long division and you had a remainder. What this is going to do is actually give you the remainder of the division. So 10 modulus 3, remember we set up here 10 divided by 3 is 3, and then there's a remainder of 1. Well, 10 modulus 3 will just give us the remainder, so this should output a 1 here. All right, and this is really useful when you want to, like, let's say, count every third item in a array, for example. Well, you can use a loop and then do this modulus, and then whenever you get a modulus returns 0, well, then you know that it's divisible by 3. So if you want to check to see if a number is divisible by another number, you can check its modulus. So that's really useful later on. Next, the incrementer, it does what it sounds like. It's the same as, okay, a plus plus is the same as a equals a plus 1. And when we do all these up here, the actual values that are held in A, B, in D, and E, they do not change. Those values do not change. It's just it performs this operation on those two and then it returns it here. The increment and decrement are different. When you do the increment, it actually will change the value, but when you put the plus plus after the name, it will return the name or return the value here, and then it will add to it. So on this line, we will get the original value of A that you'll see, but if we do it again, you'll see that it's been A plus 1. Okay, and then at the end here, we're not performing any operation. I'm just reprinting A to the screen, and you'll see that it's increased 1 since from this line. And the next one works very close to the same way, except it's the decrement operator is the same as E equals E minus 1. Okay, and it'll be the same thing on this line. It'll just appear as E was defined up above. On this one, it'll be 1 less, and then here, where we're not performing any operation, it'll be 1 less again. So let's go ahead and run it, and I'll show you how this works. First of all, since I changed it, let's recompile, and it compiles successfully, and it builds, and I could do those all at once, but yeah. While I was doing that, I want to show you one more thing here before we actually run this. On this line, you notice that I have these 2% signs in a row. Because that percent symbol is used for special functions here, if you just put a single % sign there, you'll get a compiler error. So if you actually want to print a % sign to the screen using the printf function, you need to put 2 of them in a row, and then just 1 will print. Just something to be aware of if you try to do this on your own. So go ahead and run this, and here you go. You see I print this up here so you have good reference that this is what all the A, B, C, D, and E are equal to at the start of the program. And you can just go ahead and check these. A plus B equals 2. That's correct. A minus B is 0. Correct again. And then, like I said, 3 times 10 is 30, as we expect. And then you can see that when we divide 10 by 3, we just get a 3, and that's as an int type output. But when we cast it as float, we get 3.33. So that's that's just something to be aware of when you do division in programming. Then again, a modulus, E modulus D, we get a remainder of 1. And again, a plus plus is just 1, but on this line, it's what it does first is it prints a, and then it adds 1 on the same line in the program. And so when we do it again, it prints the new value of a, which is 2, and then adds 1 again. And then its third line, remember in the program, we didn't do anything to a. All we did is print a to the screen, and you can see it's now 3. And same thing, except the other direction with E. E is initially 10, and then you subtract 1 with the decrement operator. And then you'll see that on the next line, it prints the new value of E, and then decrements again, and then on the last line, nothing's done to E, it just prints the value to there. So you can see how the decrement works. And we'll use increment and decrement when we get into loops quite often, and it will increment or decrement a value to kind of control a loop, to control the number of times a loop is performed. And so that's about it for the arithmetic operators. In the future, we will go over other types of operators, such as logical operators and some other stuff. So check back soon. If you like this video, please click like. It motivates me to make other videos just like it. If you want to find out when I post more videos, please subscribe. You can also read about completed projects on our website, spaztech.net or spaztech.com. On our website, we include details of how we did some of the projects that are on these videos and some of the source code that you can use yourself as much as you like. If you want to track progress of projects we have going on step by step, be sure to check out our pages on Twitter and on Facebook.